Hello, folks, and welcome back to High Fever, your Indiana Fever basketball podcast. I'm your host, Josh Parsenas. 189, the New York Liberty come into Gamebridge and take out your Indiana Fever. Fever fall to 8-23. New York 24-6. Game leaders Breanna Stewart put up 42 points on this Fever team. Kelsey Mitchell scored 22. Jonquel Jones 12 rebounds. Aaliyah Boston had 9. Courtney Vandersloot had 14 assists, and Aaliyah Boston had 5. Look, this is a kind of a tale of two halves, and also a tale of, the tale of the 2023 Indiana Fever. They came out strong. The starting lineup was putting in real good work early in the game, and there were points where they led this game, right? So, what happened? Well, a couple things, really. I'd like to start by mentioning that Aaliyah Boston is working on her mid-range, and she put up a couple mid-range twos that were really good. I think she's definitely going to be able to expand on that, and she'll add that to her bag. If not already, then definitely 100% by next season, she'll be able to add that pretty confidently, I would imagine, to her bag. So I just noticed that coming out, especially in the first and second quarter, she kind of I think one of the things when she would get the ball is it was always head down and drive, and so the defenses were kind of getting smart to that, and they would just double, so she didn't have any other option. But now that she can kind of pull up and take that mid range too, that's going to be a nice addition to her arsenal for sure. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the potential WNBA MVP. It is Breanna Stewart. Look, she is very good, and the Liberty are very good. Okay, and I think a combination of the two beat us today. Breanna Stewart is nearly impossible to stop. So, obviously she's got this, forward mentality, right? Or this forward body style. But she moves like a guard. She'll run the floor like a guard. And okay, can't put Aaliyah on her because, she could stay out to the three-point line and you need Aaliyah on their center. Okay, well, who else are you going to put out on there? Nalissa Smith? Or Lexi Hull is too small to cover her. Christy Wallace isn't going to do it. And Kelsey Mitchell and Erica Wheeler are really too short. So you really don't have any options when it comes to covering Breanna Stewart effectively. Now, they put out multiple things to try and stop her, and sometimes it worked. I think early in the game, the Liberty kind of came out a little sluggish. It allowed the Fever to get quite... the lead was up to 6 at one point in the second quarter. And what it meant was they said, okay, sounds good. You're going to try and stop Stewart. Well, let's pass it out to Ionescu, Vandersloot. Let's get it to some game makers. And look, that's what they did. They tore up the Fever's defenses from really the inside out. I mean, there was no stopping. I saw way too many plays on the defensive end for the Fever that were just, oh my god, we accidentally lost track of this player. Now I'm sprinting to try and cover the long 2 or the 3 ball. There were just too many of that. There were too many of turnover on the offensive end for the Fever, and then Breanna Stewart and either Vandersloot or Ionescu is now running the court, and they get the easiest layup. You know what I mean? And it's, this is a good team, okay? Keep in mind, this is the second best team in the WNBA, but, to see the Fever doing so many things right on the offensive end early in the game, and then seeing it kind of crumble away very slowly, you know, and then we lose by 11. So it was kind of a disappointing performance, but 42 points for Breanna Stewart. Honestly, I'm not sure there's much more they could have done, just with the size, just with how do you stop what Breanna Stewart is doing right now? That's going to be the question, I think, for the Fever this off season, depending on what they're trying to do there. I saw too many empty possessions. I think I mentioned it a little bit, but there were too many turnovers, too many possessions that ended up being the same thing, right? Top of the key, we'll give it to our center, either Zowie or Aaliyah, and then she'll pass back to the point guard, okay, and we're stopped. Now we're just dribbling. We're dribbling past the 3-point line, and there might be movement, there might not, but it ends up being a rush shot or a shot that just looks terrible because they're not, nothing's happening on the court. Nothing is being created. I saw way too many of those. Too many turnovers. This has been a problem with this team. But, especially a team like the Liberty, who are more often than not going to cash in on those turnovers when you give them a fast break. Those just cannot happen in a game like this against this really good team. So, it was tough, a tough afternoon, definitely for the Fever. But they've got one more home game versus the Mystics on Friday.